What is up, guys? Schmidengar here, and we are doing astronauts. We're going back to astronauts. Actually, I can't remember if I ever did a video on them, but we're doing a video on them now. Calling them boxonauts. So the goal of this deck is to hold some big astronauts and buff said big astronauts to make them even bigger, and just hold them the entire game. And the way this deck is built, more than likely we're not going to be able to hold both of them to round 5, but assuming we win at least one round between 1 and 3, we should just win every single time. Because the astronauts should be able to single-handedly win rounds by themselves, 4 and 5. And I'm about to explain why. This is not the only variant of this deck. Other people have arguably better variants of this deck, but I like this because it feels more reliable. So, first of all, we have Leica. He gives your astronauts in hand 70 power until played, and that is extremely important and the only reason this deck functions the way that it does. It's a very powerful card. Planet X, because we do have 9 space cards, so they are all going to get 14 permanently, which is very important. Heimdall, because this is a rainbow deck, we have 6 albums in here, so giving all of your cards for 1 round 30 power is pretty good. International Orange. It's to reduce the cost of our astronauts and to buff the astronauts. Bonnie and Clyde is just a very solid card. At minimum, it can cause a differential of 80 power between the cards in your opponent's hand losing power and this card gaining power. But at max, it can cause a differential of 240 power. So it's pretty good. This is another really good card that fits in this deck. It's hard to use this card because it will increase your cards with 8 or more base energy. So cards that are already big, it'll increase their cost by 2. So it's going to make them hard normally to play these cards in regular weeks, but we have tons and tons of energy, so it doesn't matter. Yeti. It's going to buff those cards in our hand with 7 or more base energy until played. And slightly debuff your opponent, which you can't count that little bit out. Sometimes little bits count. It should be said that with all this 7 or more base energy and 8 or more base energy and all that stuff, the 2 astronauts I'll be holding in my hand are Michael Collins, which is an 8 for 78, and Gennady Padalka. However you say that, sorry. Another 8 for 79. So they will be collecting these buffs, these 7 or more base energy, 8 or more base energy, Tully Monster, 70 or more base power. It's going to give them 22 until played. And then you have the standard cards that go along with Planet X, like Supermassive Black Hole, which will change based off of how many non-space cards you have. In this case, it'll give my space cards 27 until played. Ares, it's essentially you take a small hit for 1 turn, basically, and then you all of your space cards essentially get 10 power permanently. Terminator, I went over this in the last video. It's just a solid card. You want this card, but good luck getting it if you don't have cards that are worth trading for. John Glenn is going to reduce cost of our astronauts and buff them. Art Deco, it's just a good card. It's just a good card, and I didn't know exactly what else I wanted to put in here, so it's just extra energy early game just in case I draw heavy cards like Landforms and Terminator. Let's see. Dark Web, 50 or more base power, so a lot lower than the other conditions. It's going to give, ideally, our cards 16 power permanently. Uh, there's probably no chance it won't activate at 16 power, considering how much energy we have. So people who don't have large cards aren't going to win anyway, more than likely. Then there is Lufin, who will buff your astronauts. Let's see. Landforms, if you're leading by 100 on the return, it'll buff something. It'll give it a huge buff, 120. This card isn't necessary, really, and it doesn't always activate because of how this deck functions, but I still like it. I've gotten it to work a couple times, so let's go. Alrighty. Aluminum Kitty. Let's see. Turn it down just a little bit. I don't know how loud it's going to be yet, so they did some music changes. I really like it. I really like a lot of the changes that they've been doing lately. Let's see. I'm gonna throw down Dark Web. I'll throw down Terminator. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. No, I'm not. Aluminum Kitty. I don't know if that's a bot or not. I think that's a bot. I really hope not, or I'm about to stomp it. Let's see. I don't know. That seemed like a slow play on the third card, but King of Limbs did go beside Lotus Flower. I'm gonna try to speed play 3 cards and see if they insta-lock as soon as they play their cards. Yeah, I think that was an insta-lock. Oh well. Yeah, just by winning this one round, by winning round 1, I can already tell that, well, 1, I'm probably not going to make it to round 5. But if I did make it to round 5, then this is guaranteed to win. Just like I was explaining in when I was in the deck, looking at the deck, if you win any round between 1 and 3, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the game. The astronauts get so large that they can beat rounds by themselves. Well, not like throw them down by themselves and play no other cards, but your opponent will not stand a chance when you throw this card down with your other cards, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, we've ramped up our energy so much that it really doesn't matter anymore. Uh, how much our cards cost. We could be hit by. We could be hit by a King Midas and a Ragnarok, and it doesn't matter. The reason I like this deck, this variant more than the others, is it, and why I think it feels more reliable, is because of the amount of damage you can push out in these early rounds. I did 1431 in round two. I don't necessarily know if that's high or low because we haven't had a week like this in a long time, but I do believe that it's pretty good and reasonable considering I am holding cards for the entire game. Well, we didn't want to have our cards locked, but I guess we're just gonna win this round anyway. There's no real point in dragging it out, so let's just throw down cards. It's a shame we don't get the big turn, but it's okay. I was really hoping it would hit the astronaut. So that would be 281. Yep. 307. 15. Almost 2,000 power in the round. Not bad. Not bad. Right, let's see if we can get a real player. I'm gonna see what my friend list looking like. Let's see if we can drag somebody in. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with Joyous. Probably just fought them in a random league match and added them afterwards. Ah. I'm curious as to know what this is. I didn't think about throwing Power of Zero in as a tech card. I mean, everybody's running big stuff. I don't see why not. That's not a bad idea. For a second, I thought he was running tiny. I was very confused. I was like, I hope he has Testudo's formation and Siege Tower, Heimdall. I like what I see so far. I love when people use Bactrian Camel. It's such a classic card. I don't see it as much as I used to. Oh man, that's fine.
We are not alone. Alright, we got our Heimdall. Very good turn to draw that. Just gonna go ahead and throw them down. I'm gonna try to win this one. I don't want to set up the entire round. I'm scared of his round 3. Okay. This Maybe I should be more scared of this round. Maybe 3 won't be so bad. That's okay. We still have one more round to redeem ourselves before it's too late. That was a very good turn for Leica. It might have been a better idea, though, to put John Glenn in the left slot and Planet X in the right slot. Just so I could play Leica again immediately with John Glenn in hand. So you definitely want to keep something like that in mind. That's pretty lucky. Hit him with the eye gouge. Try to fake him out. Look at that space, those 2 space cards, and Godzilla, Terminator. Oh. Yeah. I wasn't quite sure. I definitely didn't want to take the risk. It'll be alright. We still have 1 astronaut. This scenario has not happened yet with this deck. So I'm curious as to see if I can hold 1 round without playing another astronaut. This is an extremely weak turn. I'm not sure if I want to do it though. I'm thinking I'm actually going to do this. I might just change the game plan. And it did not work. I have officially screwed myself. That's it. I'm just gonna do Yeti. I don't care. I just can't exactly see what he really tried to win that round 3. So it made me think. I don't know. He's pushing a lot of power. This is this is gonna be difficult. Hit Dark Web. Ah, 33% chance of failure. If we weren't gonna lose the game before, we might have just lost then. Let's try it. It's 3 astronauts. I'm trying. This is our one chance. Ah! That was a tough one. Yeah, I got psyched out on that round 3 because he was pushing a lot of power. So I threw down an astronaut. I might not have needed to. And then I definitely got psyched on round 4 because he put out power and then he decided to cycle his cards. And that kind of screwed with me. But that's okay. Good game, Joyous. Hope you enjoyed. This deck can do quite a lot of damage. I really wish I was able to hold the astronauts a bit longer because the astronauts by themselves can be sitting anywhere between 700 and like 1,000 power, I think. I'm pretty sure the largest I've gotten them is somewhere a little below 900. But you know, you have to rely on cycling luck and cycling the first round when you draw your cards and whatnot. You have to rely on that to get them as high as possible. But hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.